Okay. All right. So, hey, Reggie, welcome back to the channel.
Yep, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How you been?
Good, good, good. Just relaxing.
All right, man. I'm here to bring you on the channel to kind of talk about our last interview we did. We had a bit of a mixed reaction to that video, and I want to give you a chance to talk about it a bit. So, yeah. Have you seen the video?
Oh yeah, I saw a good bit of it. Some of it, I'm gonna be honest, was like, you know what? I was there. I saw it, so I
Mhm.
was like, all right, I saw a little bit. I went to the comment section, just kind of curious as to what people thought, and I was like, oh my god. But there were some people that were just like, yeah, I understand where he's coming from. So yeah, I did get to see it.
Yeah, a lot of people actually the negative comments obviously stand out more. But if you go back to the
Hmm.
comment section, it's been over a week, over 30,000 views, and you'll see I
What
think
is
majority
more?
of
Oh
people
wow.
actually support you, yeah, instead of being
Yeah, wow.
against you. So a lot of people are hearing where
Hmm.
you're coming from. Just kind of remind us a little bit about where you're from and like the Philippines, why you went there, because a lot of people don't know why you're in the
Oh
Philippines
yeah.
if you don't like it so much. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, yeah. So one thing I want to make clear before I go even say that, I don't dislike being here. When I
Mhm.
was talking about like everything that I thought was going on, it was just me saying, "Oh yeah, this is what I see. I just observe." But other than that, overall, I love the place. Like the weather, the people in general, pretty nice. I don't have
Mhm.
any issues with anybody like talking about. It's just a few things, but you get that with any country. But speaking of where I'm from. I'm from America, Ohio, Columbus to be more specific. And I originally came here to take care of some stuff. I'm not going to go into details to what it was, but I
Yeah.
had an obligation to come here. Let's just put it that way. And I ended up staying for a while, ended up liking it. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm just
Hmm.
gonna go straight into the comments, man. I'm gonna read some of
Let's
the
go. Let's
comments that
go.
stood out. Actually, before we read the comments, I'm gonna talk about some of the general vibes. So the first one was, "Why are
Okay.
you here if it's so negative?" The second one was, "So many people had an issue with you smoking." So tell me what are your thoughts on people getting pressed about you smoking out there?
Okay, all right, all right. So I'll start with the second one since I kind of addressed the first one a little bit already.
Hmm.
To be honest, man, you know what? They're right. I don't really know how to smoke. Okay, I just started like maybe like 4 months ago. Like I
Yeah.
was kind of stressed about some stuff, and I don't know why. It just seemed like a good idea at the time, and I did it. It calmed me down. And does it make it right? No, I know that it's harmful. I know that it's dangerous. And I know that I also need to get back into my health kick because I used to be very healthy, very active in the gym. But like I said, a lot of that took a back seat for the things that I was trying to iron out. I had some issues to
Yeah.
deal with. And long story short, when you're stressed, you don't know exactly what you're going to turn to. And, hey, there are more destructive things you can turn to, like alcohol, or you can become like a drug addict. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things you can get addicted to. But my point here is this, like, we all deal with our stress differently. And, whatever works for you works. But if it's something destructive, don't make it very long. And trust me, I'm very self aware of the destructive nature of what I'm doing, which is why as soon as I get everything back on track and I get back into the gym, I'm not going to even touch it anymore because I don't like it. I hate it. My girlfriend hates it. Yeah, it's just, yeah. So don't think that I'm doing it proudly or whatever. And if I remember right, at the time I was talking to you, something was pissing me off at the moment. I was like, all right, I just need to get a beer. I need to smoke really quick and just kind of just mellow out. So yeah, a lot of the people that were saying, oh, you get this negative vibe. Yeah, I was very negative that day. I was not in a good mood. But at the end of the day, I'm generally like a overall positive person. I really don't want to be negative or anything like that. So yeah. So that answers that question. But I
Okay.
guess I can go into a little bit more detail about the first one. You're asking why am I still here? I'm still here because I like it. You know,
Yeah.
tell me how many marriages exist right now where somebody likes everything about the person? None.
I don't know any.
None at all.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there's so many like really good long-term marriages that have lasted. And I'm sure if you ask them, there's plenty of times they were on the brink of divorce, right?
Mm.
Same thing for anything that you get into or anything that you like or anywhere that you live. There's going to be negatives. When I lived in America, I love my country. I will always love my country. But there are a lot of negative things about my country. I can go on and on. The list is probably longer than the Philippines, to be honest. Um, but people have to understand that with every good thing, there's a bad thing. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. And that's definitely true for here. Anywhere else that you may be, Germany, Japan, no matter where you go, there's positives and negatives, and you just got to accept that.
Yeah, and I want to kind of mention a couple things for those of you that didn't watch the live stream I did after the video. I kind of explained to the viewers that you asked me if it was okay for you to smoke, so that I want to put that
I
out
did,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. So number one, and the second thing is I want to say this was our second interview, the last one. So a lot of the positive opinions you had about the Philippines was already discussed, and that's why I came out the gate asking you straight up, what's the
Yep.
biggest lie about the Philippines? So I set the tone to that video, and I don't want to come out here throw you under the bus and make it seem like we're all
No,
negative.
not at all.
So just remind us all, what are some things that you do like about the film? You said there's a whole bunch of stuff, of course. Remind us of some
Oh
of the things that you
yeah.
do like.
Okay. Well. First of all, did I cut you off? I'm so sorry if I did.
No, that's it.
Okay. The first thing that I do like the most, I do not like cold weather. The weather here is perfect all year round. Like, you don't have to own a jacket. You don't have to keep the heater on. You don't have to scrape your car out of like a thick block of ice in the morning before going somewhere. And those are just some of the things that I disliked about living in America that I like about here. Another thing is generally, as a general sentiment, and I want to make this clear to all the people that think I don't like Filipinos, they're very nice people. I can, anywhere in Cebu, I can go and ask somebody something and they'll give me an answer. They'll chat with me. They'll talk to me. I've made more friends here in the Philippines than I probably have made in my entire lifetime in America, period.
Yeah.
And I'm a fairly social person. I like to go and jump into things with people and just talk to them or whatever. And in America, you really can't do that. I mean, you try to do that and people are a little standoffish. They don't want to talk to you. But here, it's just like, oh yeah, hey, come hang out with us. Hey, you want some Red Horse? Have Red Horse with us. And generally overall, it's fine. Now, that's not to say that you don't run into the occasional person that's going to be just mean to you for no reason, or they don't like you, or whatever the hell it is that they can't stand about you. Maybe they woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But the people are overall very friendly, very nice. And another thing I really like about the Philippines is that if you ever need like a break from like the hustle and bustle of the city, you can go to the city, get that energy, that vibe. But if you get sick of it, a beach is anywhere between like 10 minutes to about 2 hours away from you. And you could just go get some beach therapy and then just come back to it and get right back to work. So there's never a shortage of stress relief, even though I ended up smoking, but there's never a shortage of stress relief. And that's one of the things that I was not able to get in America. I mean, because if I wanted to get the same thing, I'd have to drive to Florida. I'd have to drive to fly to California, or maybe fly to Hawaii or something like that. So there's a lot of pros with it. Oh, and the last thing that I really like is, believe it or not, I like riding my motorcycle out here. It's really nice. There's not all those rules constricting you. You just ride free, but
Yeah.
you do have to be careful. You do have to be very, very careful. But other than that, yeah, I mean, that's all I can think of right now. I'm sure there's more, but yeah.
You mentioned marriage earlier a bit. You're talking about marriage to the Philippines, right? You're not married right now, are you?
No, I'm not married. No, not yet.
Okay, okay. Speaking of like, let's talk a bit more about dating. I know a lot of guys. I don't think we touched too much on this when we had our last proper interview, but
Mhm.
it's a conversation that always has been had between foreigners going to the Philippines. What's dating like for you right now in the Philippines?
I mean, well, right now I'm in a long term, so things are going pretty well with that. Um, there's a lot of things that you have to kind of be patient about. And okay, this is the best way I could put this. All right, all the things that you have to kind of keep in mind with women in your country. I'm guessing most of your viewers are probably in the West. You have to also add the cultural difference aspect on top of it as well, because there are going to be some things that you will say that's not going to translate well. One of my favorite things is when I tell my girlfriend, she's like, "Okay, we're going to go somewhere." I'm like, "All right, well, you can come if you want, if you want
Yeah.
to." Don't ever say that. Hold on. Don't ever say that, because it directly translates to oh, so you don't care if I come? You don't want me to come? It's like, no, I'm just simply saying like it's your option. You can come if you'd like. Oh no, I don't want to come. I don't want to come because you don't want me to come. It's like, okay, so you have to kind of remember that there is going to be the cultural difference. You just have to be just a tiny bit more patient. But if you are a tiny bit more patient, you will find it to be very rewarding. Filipinos are very loving, very caring, and they really take time to make sure that you're okay. I mean, in America, I swear, like I wouldn't get somebody that's gonna cook for me out of love, not because I'm like I command you to cook for me. No, it's like out of love. I don't ask because for me, I like to cook as well. So
Okay.
we take turns. I'm like, all right, cool. You cook one day, I cook one day. Just kind of back and forth. But I think that a lot of a lot of times we don't have that in in the West. So when we get that here in in the Philippines and Thailand or whatever, wherever Asian country you go to, it kind of takes you
Hmm.
back a bit. You're like, wow, this is really nice, like so the patience does pay off. You just
I
have to be
see.
a little bit more patient and a little bit more understanding. And once you get that, it's good. It's fantastic.
Okay. All right. Well, just
Hmm.
to keep this raw and unfiltered, so I have a bunch of, so I do have a bunch of like actual comments to read out loud. I'm going to read them to you. Let's give more
Okay,
specifics, and you can respond to them as long, as short, ignore,
sure,
whatever you want. I'm just going to read some of the top comments of some stuff that stood out. Somebody
sure.
said,
Go
we
for
may
it.
have already
Hold on.
talked about some of this. Somebody said, oh, wait till you're ready.
No, no, I had to do something. Sorry, you're good. You're good. Go
Okay,
for it.
all good. Here we go. So someone says, so 100 expats are wrong and you are right. Have you considered to think it might be you who's drawing out the negativity you feel from Filipinos? Maybe there's so much negativity inside you beforehand that people don't want to
Oh,
be genuine to you anymore.
oh,
It's just harder to think
oh,
that hundreds of people are wrong and you are the
oh
one
my
person
God.
who's correct based on personal experience.
Okay, and you just answered your own question at the end. Personal experience. Everybody's personal
Exactly.
experience is going to be different, right? That's like saying, okay, I like Ford, you like Chevy. Man, I've had a ton of problems with Chevys. Why you got a Ford? You're dumb. Okay, well, I had no problems with my Ford. Maybe I had problems with Chevy. See, two different perspectives, right?
Hmm.
I could sit there and feel something different, and my experience is going to be different from yours because I'm a completely different person. To address the negativity thing, man, you don't know me. You haven't been
Yeah.
around me. You only see me in like what little clips and little things, and I'm talking about this and that. Yeah, sometimes I have an off day, and I'm kind of going to say something that's going to sound like I'm negative, but overall, man, you can ask anybody that knows me. I'm a generally cheery person. And I know that you haven't known me for too long. I mean, we've talked once or
Hmm.
twice. But I mean, I think even you can attest to it. I mean, I'm not sitting there going around like, oh, I hate everything. Oh, the world is awful. No, 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 no. No, I don't know. I'm totally like, everything's cool until something is not cool. And what I tend to do is I can only give you some kind of idea of what I've experienced from my side of everything.
Yeah.
And if I see something negative, I'm going to say it, and it's negative. And there's a couple other things too that kind of affect it, right? Like, I mean, not everybody's going to like you, not everybody's going to like me. And if we want to go even more high level, not everybody's going to like your group of people or your type of person. And that's generally what's going to happen. I mean, like, so yeah, my experience can be negative, your experience can be positive. Hundreds could experience a good experience, hundreds could experience negative, because you know what? I know a lot of people that kind of share my same sentiment. And I'm not going to go into detail as to exactly why, because that's going to start a whole debate in the comment section. I don't want to hear it. But let's just put it this way: for every one person that feels something adverse to what you're saying that you feel, with those hundreds of people that back you up, there's going to be hundreds of other people that can agree and attest to the same thing, because experiences are experiences, and that's just it. Sorry, buddy.
Definitely. It's just the way it is. And
That's
a
it.
couple of people, like in the last interview, you kind of hinted that once the money runs out, the love runs out with Filipinos. So a couple of people had this idea. I'm going to read one of them, but this is
Go
just
for
one
it.
of the comments. Someone says, funny, I'm broke as hell and no one's been not nice to me. Maybe it's your attitude. So someone says because you're broke. What do you have to say about the whole money situation in the Philippines? Or nobody knows what you do anyway. So for people to
Uh-huh.
assume that you have no money, how do you respond to that?
Well, I mean, there's a big generalization of people out here. Again, I'm not going to go into specifics as to why some people assume some people are broke, but a lot of people's opinions are based on assumptions from what I've seen. And maybe you might have one day where you're like, ah, today I don't want to wear like really nice clothes. I just want to wear like something that's a little worn in because it's loved, it feels comfortable. And then you go somewhere and they just assume you're broke. Or, hey, I didn't ride in on my motorcycle today. I just walked here. Oh, yeah, you're broke. You got no money. Or, oh, hey, I need to get money out the ATM. You're broke. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's like a reoccurring pattern. And it's not everywhere in the Philippines. And again, it's not everyone. But I have experienced and seen on days where I've been just, maybe looking a little bummy, or maybe I was actually broke that day. Because let's face it, some days you're broke, some days you're rich. But there is a difference in treatment, a little bit. And again, it is not from negative sentiment or anything like that, because I treat everyone the same way. I go everywhere, I say please and thank you. I, say hello to people, even if they don't say hello back to me, because the way I kind of view it is like, as long as I treat everybody with respect, somebody's going to give me the same respect back. And if they don't give me the same respect back, that's on them. So, but yeah, so, I mean, it's not to say, oh, hey, I'm broke. You don't know my net worth. Maybe you broke.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I mean, it's that mentality. And there are people that kind of subscribe to that. And there's just nothing you can do about it. And it's not just here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm very specific on that. It's not just here. It's everywhere. Everybody looks at somebody and then they make their judgment based on what they see. It's evolutionary, right? Back in the days when we were like cavemen and everything, we see a tiger and then, oh man, we saw that tiger eat Larry. Oh, we're never touching that thing ever again. No, we see a tiger, we run. He ate Larry. Same thing for this, right? It's like, all right, well, I saw a guy that looked like that before. He didn't have any money. Maybe he's broke, or maybe he's negative, but it's not always true. Things are deeper than just surface level. If your viewers don't learn anything, everything is deeper than the skin, the top. You got to go lower. You got to go beneath, because you can make an assumption about somebody and be completely wrong.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, thanks for clarifying that. Next thing that kind of came up a couple of times was, I think at some point you mentioned the level of poverty in the Philippines. Now, someone says about poor people and homeless in USA, he said he hasn't seen much. He should take a look at New York and other cities in the US. Very strange.
I never said that.
May have been, I can't recall specifically, or else I would have quoted, but I think perhaps like culture shock or something, you kind of hinting at, you see some underdeveloped areas. But once again, this is a comment I'm reading. So what are your thoughts on that specific comment?
Well, I will say first off, if you took it that way, no, that is absolutely not what I was saying. Because there's definitely poverty all over the place in America. I've been to California, I've been to New York, I've been almost all over the United States, and everywhere, no matter where you go in America, let's start there first. No matter where you go in America, there's a poor population. They live somewhere. I mean, hell, there's tent cities in California, and those people are all broke. They're all poor, right? So I never sat there and said, oh, there's no poverty in America. Like, no, whoever thinks that is kind of crazy. But there is a lot of poverty in the Philippines. Not to say that it's more or less than any other country, but there's a good bit, right? A lot of people, I mean, you give them 1,000 pesos, that's a lot of money to them. It's not to say Filipinos are poor or broke, because there are some Filipinos, man, they got more money than you and me put together, okay? Like, they're driving around in nice cars, they got big houses, things like that. But where there are rich people, there are poor people. It's just what it is. The one thing that I notice is that there are, and this doesn't exist in the West, and I'm still trying to figure out how this actually works. And maybe somebody in the comments could explain this, but there are like these areas where a bunch of Filipinos will kind of take over and they just kind of live there. But the land is for nobody, and somebody's paying rent to somebody, but the government at any time can just kind of come in and take it. I don't know. Like I said, somebody can go ahead and clarify that for me. But a lot of those areas, they're not really, they're making money, but they're not making enough money to where it's like, okay, well, we can be well off, or we can afford a medical emergency or whatever. It's almost parallel to what we have in the West, right? We have a lot of people that are working, they go to work, things like that. But one medical emergency, one thing happens, that's it. They're wiped out. They're broke. They're destitute. They have no money, right? And I think that that comment was taken out of context, because I never said that there's no poor in the
Just
West.
from my own experiences and seeing comments based off videos or comments I've made, I think a lot of people, for example, if I say, let's say I'm Indian, for example, and I say that the
Right, right,
Philippines has a lot of trash,
right.
automatically they assume I'm saying it's got more trash than India. But that's
Oh,
not
I
what I'm
see what you're
saying.
saying.
Two things can
Yeah,
be true at the same time. I don't think you
two
specifically
things. Yeah.
said there are no US homeless people. I think you just said something about the homelessness. I mean, not the homeless, the poverty levels in the Philippines. And some people automatically associate with you saying there's no poverty in the US, for example. So I think
Oh, yeah.
that's where that comes from.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully that clarified it. Yeah, because I'm definitely not saying that. That's not true at all.
Yeah.
But there is definitely, there's definitely a bit of an issue, and that issue exists in every country. The question is, what is the country going to do about it? What are the local governments going to do about it? Is anybody actually going to help people that don't have money get money, have opportunity? Because at the end of the day, it's a combination of things. It's lack of education, which I'm not saying that Filipinos are uneducated. I'm saying that there's a lack of education, and then there's a lack of skill.
Yeah.
And you can either get ahead by having either education, skill, or both. And if you don't have those things, you're not employable. And if you're not employable, then you're poor. You can't make any money. You have to do odd jobs to survive. And I think that there has to be some sort of effort somewhere to try to alleviate that issue, bridge the gap. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's going to happen, but that's not for me to say.
All right, Reggie, you and I can talk for hours like we have in the past as well. I just want to say that you don't owe me anything. I don't owe you anything. And I appreciate your time for coming here and talking, because I don't like how people get in the wrong idea about either the Philippines or my guests or just someone talking smack about you that doesn't know you. So I'm glad we clarified a bunch of these things. And there's still going to be people that are going to be disagreeing with you, and that's normal.
Of course,
That's
yeah.
fine.
It's nothing.
I'm not here to try to sway everybody to feel like I do or feel like you do,
Neither am
but I
I.
thought it was just fair to have you on the channel again to kind of mention some of the stuff that people are talking about. And any
Oh
final
yeah.
words you want to say about the Philippines or anything, feel free to go ahead, do so.
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, spend more time not sugarcoating things whenever you're looking at something. Because for me, when I had that last interview with you, it was just me putting a mirror up.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody told me a long time ago, they said, if you don't like what you see in the reflection of that mirror, then change what you are in the reflection. You have control of that. And I don't like that I have to tell the unfiltered, the raw, unfiltered truth. But, you
Mm-hmm.
know, if I lie, then I perpetuate something that doesn't ever change, right?
Yeah.
Change begins with acknowledging that there's a problem, right? Acknowledging that there's something going on. And, I can go ahead and point at myself too. Yeah, I mean, all day long, I'm not a perfect person. I never claim to be, and my country's not perfect. They definitely got a lot of things to fix. That's for another video, another day sometime. But
Yeah.
don't sugarcoat things. But I also didn't unsugarcoat it. I just didn't put salt on it. I didn't put salt on
Yeah.
it either. Hold on, let me rephrase that. I didn't sugarcoat it, but I also didn't put salt on it.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
ended up just giving it to you like just plain. And some people don't like the taste of plain things, right? They want something. They want some kind of uh, garnishment where it either tastes sweet or it tastes salty. But I'm not going to give you
Yeah.
either. I'm going to tell you what I see, and that's just what it's going to be. So if you ever invite me on again, I have no problem with telling you what I think and see. And to those people that did support me, I want to say thank you for understanding. And to those people that didn't understand, this is no swipe at you or whatever. You can have your opinions. It's fine. And you can say whatever you want, because that's the freedom of speech, And the thing that we all have to understand is that we are allowed to say whatever it is that we want. We can agree or disagree. Just like I have the freedom to say what I wanted to say, you have the freedom to disagree as well. So I don't hate you. I shake hands with you at the end of the day. You want to get a beer? That's fine. But I'm not going to be mad at you.
All right. Well, Reggie, thank you so much for being here, man. I hope you have a wonderful evening. It was nice to talk
Yes.
to you once again.
Yeah, you too, man. Hey, I'll catch you later.
Sounds good, bro. Take it easy.
See ya.
Bye.